Welcome to another exhilarating episode of Comic Book Straight Talk, brought to you from the secret basement inside one of America's oldest comic shops, Tulsa's own The Comic Empire. Now, true believers, open up your ear holes and get ready to have your head filled with the best comic book knowledge this galaxy can handle. That's right, it's time for another nerd overload with Comic Book Straight Talk.
Welcome back to Comic Book Straight Talk. This is Dalian.
Kenny.
Terry over here.
James.
Carrington.
And we're going to talk with James a little bit about
Fandays.
Fandays, Dallas, Sci-Fi Expo. It used to be the old Sci-Fi Expo. But yeah, it's Fandays, Dallas. It's been sold about 6 years ago, I think, something like that. And so you went down Saturday for it.
Yes.
And got to get John Byrne's signature.
So, they had John Byrne, Jim Lee, Jeff Loeb, Scott Williams, Ed McGuinness, Steve Rude.
The Dude.
Rude the Dude.
The Rude Dude. And many others. Doug Mankey.
Ah, yes. He used to do a Major Bummer, didn't he?
Well, he was doing Detective up through
right.
1,000.
But you got to start on, I think, Major Bummer. I remember first seeing it. So.
No, he was around long before that.
Was he? That's just what I remember seeing his name, though.
I picked up a Major Bummer book the other day, actually.
Major Bummer was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good
He
series.
was a slacker with superpowers. But anyway, yeah, so Loeb and Lee and Williams are all together, right? Or
No.
No. I think we were discussing it. We were hoping they would be.
Yeah, they weren't.
So did you abide by all the rules for John Byrne?
Oh, yes.
Actually, one of our friends, Tom, he posted. He actually snuck in there at some point and got a photo with him.
Who did?
Tom, our buddy Tom from Kansas.
Oh, your buddy from Tom.
Yeah.
Well,
So he
I know
was
Tom.
just sitting there talking and stuff. He wasn't actually doing any signing or anything yet, and he just went up there and politely asked him, and he took a picture with him.
I think that he would probably be fine if something like that, I don't think it was his rules about no pictures. I think it was more his handlers.
There's a large list of rules, though.
Yeah.
So, when I first went in, I couldn't find John Byrne's table. It was like the last one on the very end, and it looked like there was only 2-3 people in line. Well, then it wrapped around behind the booth, and somebody said, well, the line's capped off for now until he goes to lunch. So after lunch, I got in to a line, and they had little cards with his rules, and it was 10 items per family unit per day. He would only do black Sharpie. He would only do things that he had specifically worked on. So you couldn't just have him sign a She-Hulk book because he worked on She-Hulk.
We had to have his name somewhere on the book.
And he said no duplicates.
Right.
And so one of the handlers was going through, and he was like, make sure everybody understands all these rules. We want everyone to have a positive experience. And rumor in the line was at some other con, people didn't follow the rules, and he got angry and just left and didn't come back. So we followed all the rules and didn't ruin it for anybody else. So
That doesn't surprise me.
He had to be sneaky, though.
yeah,
He had to be sneaky. Uh-oh.
So I've got a Batman 400 that I've been trying to get a lot of people's signatures on it. Well, Kenny has one too, so I took his with me to get signed. Well, since there's no duplicates, so I guess the guy in front of me in line, I said, can you help a brother out? And I says, I've got this Batman 400, and he's like, oh, that reminds me, I've got my Batman 400 with all these signatures. I forgot Byrne worked on that. Thanks for reminding me. I'm like, well, that's great for you, but that kind of screws me. So the guy in line behind me hooked me up. So
That's cool.
And I got one of the She-Hulks that he worked on. It's the one where she's carrying him, and I was like, well, that seems appropriate.
Yeah.
So, and then I got the Superman or Action Comics annual number. I think it's number 1. That it's a Superman Batman against vampires story.
Yes.
And I told him how much I loved that story, and he's like, I liked that too. It was fun. And he opened it up to the picture of Skeeter, the female vampire. He says, I told Art Adams, he says, I didn't want Daisy May. He says, I wanted, just regular girl, not voluptuous. He said, look at her. Imagine if I'd asked for Daisy May. So it was a little fun exchange between me and John Byrne.
That's better than my last exchange with John Byrne. Yeah.
That was where you got kicked off the message board, right?
Probably. I bitched at him about his Wonder Woman art. Because you go from Diodato to John Byrne. It looked like horrible John Byrne. I told him that, and he was like, well, I'll come to your place and insult you. And I'm like, bring it. Yeah, I got kicked out of that thing.
So how was that? How was the overall vendors? I mean, it was because every time I go to Fan Days, it seems, I don't know, not necessarily live, but it just didn't. I can't seem to find anything during Fan Days.
So overall, I would probably give this con like a B minus to a C. It's there were a lot of negatives, and one of the big negatives was right at the end, so I'm trying not to let that color my whole con experience. But they so it starts out, you go up and you pick up your badge at will call, and instead of going right in, they're like, well, you have to activate your badge. And I'm like, well, I paid for it and I had to put all my information in then. When you scan my QR code, why didn't you just put the badge number in and back? But so you had to go get on your phone, and you had to get on Signal, and they had this huge area where everyone's milling around on their phone and trying to figure out how to activate their badge. And at that point, my legs were killing me because I had to park way out in the hinterlands.
They should have just activated it when they handed it to you.
Yeah,
That's just what he said.
And it was they did have some people with some iPads in case you didn't have a phone or you didn't have a data plan, but it was just. And they're like, everywhere you go, it had an RFID tag in it, and we're going to scan it in and out. I got it scanned when I walked in. Nobody ever scanned it again. So, the plan was they were going to measure where people went and what they did, but in actuality, they didn't use it.
But logically, it makes sense, to kind of find it, in trying to figure out what people are going to do. But like you said, if you don't do it,
they didn't use it for that. And if you bought extra things, you had a QR code. It wasn't attached to your badge, so you had to have the QR code either printed out or on your phone. So, I put my badge in my back pocket and never touched it again. So that wasn't a huge downer, but it was just like, it was just one more thing at that point. So last year, when you went in, then it was like celebrities, and then the comic writers, and then the vendors. And I guess the vendors complained. So this year, the vendors were right after where you walked in.
Which would make sense.
And the vendors like that.
Yeah.
And then you go through their stuff first. So, and there was a lot of vendors, and they kind of tried to. It seemed like all the comic vendors were down at one end.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they were. I assume that was on purpose, because it was. If that wasn't on purpose, then it was highly unlikely. But so that way, if you were there for comics, you stay on one end. If you're there for arts and crafty things and swords and costuming and stuff, so you could kind of go to one area. You didn't have to go through everything. So I didn't really find any books. I mostly went for signatures, so I only spent a few hours looking for books. Jimmy Trammell went, and he found a decent stack of things. So there was books to be found, but there weren't any steals there.
Right.
It was people knew what they had, and you had to price your books in order to make up your table money, which I assume was pretty substantial.
I can tell you it's easily a $600 table spot.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
So the rows weren't too bad. It was pretty crowded, but there was enough space. The center row had a big red carpet down it, and that helped, because it was a little bit springy, and and after walking all day, that felt good. One of the gaming companies or something had a big area with a big long couch, and then they had places where you could plug in your phone and recharge it and stuff. I thought that was nice.
I think that, and it may be something they're going to start doing at a lot of conventions. I think I've heard something they have charging stations around places now as we're kind of moving.
Well, and every the con program is on your phone, and so you kind of got to have.
Can remember those days when we didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I remember the days when Comic Cons were about comics.
You
You
charged your phone once a week, whether it needed it or not.
Mm-hmm.
I remember those days when I didn't have a phone.
Yeah.
to go into the con.
So,
How was the Jim Lee line?
He's trying to stay positive.
Well, did you get his signature though?
yes.
Okay. On.
So there was lots of artists just in the general. It was kind of a U-shaped thing. I don't think that the artist had enough room. The artists were kind of at the end of the vendors thing, and it was just a normal sized row between the end of the vendors and the artists. Well, there wasn't anywhere for people to line up, so the lines were blocking everything. They were blocking other people. You couldn't tell who a line was for. Like Scott Williams' line snaked in front of Jay Lee's table. Well, people were walking away from Jay Lee's table thinking, well, he's not there, or I can't see him, or the line's too long, and he had no one at his table. So, they could have had better placement and realized that not every author is going to have creator
right.
is going to have a line, but there's some people that are going to have a line. Now, like John Burns, there was an area behind that they could put the line in, and that worked out really well. Except when people would walk right up and say, "Oh, there's no one at John Burns' line," and walk right up to him. And fortunately, they had a worker there going, "No,
that knew what they were doing, right?
The line's way over there." I didn't think they had enough workers. They probably could have used half again as many.
That's one complaint I've heard, and that's my, since I did it the first year, horrible, will not do it again as a vendor. But I have heard that sometimes the people know what they're doing, and sometimes they don't. There's never enough.
All the vendors that I went and asked questions to were very nice. I don't want to completely denigrate them, but none of them knew the answers to the questions I was asking.
Even Andy? You didn't ask Andy any questions he didn't know the answer to?
I don't know Andy, so...
Duncanville.
Well, he was there at his booth. He wasn't a volunteer.
Right,
I meant like the
volunteer booth.
The staff volunteers is what I meant.
Oh, okay.
So, excuse me. So I didn't see a table for Jeff Loeb, and I was waiting in line for someone else, and I asked this guy, have you seen Jeff Loeb's table? And they said, oh, he's only doing... I said, is he only doing a panel? Is he not signing? And they said, oh, there's a Jeff Loeb experience that you have to pay to get in on. And there's like a panel, and you get 2 signatures, and you get a selfie with him.
And dinner and a kiss?
No.
No, not even that, man.
Character
ties. What?
What? Wait.
What?
What's going on? So I got on my phone and ordered that real quick, and it was $30, and I was like, if it's...
You were trying to justify it.
Yeah, but I was like, it was 2 signatures. If they charged $10 for signatures, that'd have been $20 there. So I went ahead and did that. And
the full Jeff Loeb experience.
Yeah, no. So, and then that was downstairs in one of the rooms where they were doing panels. Well, there was, and that was at 4:30. They said that since they had the con on Free Comic Book Day, that the local comic shops were angry with them. Mm-hmm. So one of the concessions that the con made was they wouldn't do any comic functions at the con until like after a certain time, 1 or 2 o'clock. Well, so all the comic stuff had to be really condensed together to fit it all in the afternoon.
I think this is the second year they've done that. They've done their
and I realize that conventions are very limited on available dates that they can both get guests and they can get the venue and they can get workers. You've got 52 weeks in a year, and probably 30 of those are gone immediately.
Well,
it's got to be very tough to schedule those.
Weren't as many Comic Cons. There were only maybe one big con every 3 months, something like that. And
they had New York, MegaCon, Dragon Con, Emerald City, Comic Con, WonderCon, and
then you had your little smaller
Chicago.
shows, but but yeah,
little smaller shows that get 1 or 2 guests, but
right.
Yeah, for the big shows where you're going to get some big major guests, pretty much every week of the year
there's something going.
Something going on. So you're either or like this one. One of their big draws was they had pretty much everybody from Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
And one guy I was in line next to talking to had come all the way from Connecticut specifically to get, this is sad, Peter Mayhew's signature, and then
I was gonna
he died this week. I was like, oh, that's awful. But I guess they still had Peter Mayhew's table.
They did,
and
I've seen
people were
pictures.
doing a tribute thing and leaving little stuffed Wookiees and
I've seen some pictures.
stuff. So I thought that was nice.
That's cool.
One I thought was like someone, I guess, an R2D2 was standing there by it, and everything. And
So how was your Peter Mayhew, your Jeff Loeb experience?
So
Terry's poking the bear.
So it was downstairs in the conference room. Well, they had lots of conference rooms, and it was supposed to start at 4:30. Well, they scheduled it in the room that they had another thing going right up until 4:30. It was a Transformers with Cullen and some of the others. So, and it ran long, so we couldn't. And Jeff Loeb was there early, and if they had put us in one of the empty rooms, he could have started early. So we're all in line. Well, then there was a Jim Lee experience at 5. Well, everybody in line is freaking out that the Jeff Loeb thing is running late, and we have got to be up there by 5 for this Jim Lee experience. Well, so they pulled everybody that had 5 o'clock Jim Lee experience tickets out and let them go first in line. Well, then everybody else that's in line, it's like, I'm sorry you didn't plan your day better, but I got down here an hour and a half ago to line up for this, and now I'm in the back of the line. So that ruffled
Sounds
some,
like it was an experience.
ruffled some people the wrong way. So you got 2 signatures. So I got a Batman 608, the first of the Hush series, signed by him and Scott Williams. And then I had a whole other stack of books, but I had to pick just one other book, so I picked a book that he had written with that Ed McGuinness had done the art on, and got him to sign those. So we left that, and then I had signed up for the 6 o'clock Jim Lee experience. Well, that line was incredibly long and very chaotic. No one knew what was going on. There was people that were still in line from the 4:30 Jim Lee CGC experience, because you can only get things CGC'd if you had bought the special CGC package. And so we go up and get in line, and everybody's like, there's no way, we've only got till 7 o'clock till the con ends, and what's going to happen, and can we get a refund? Are we going to be kicked out of line? So then everybody's, the 5 o'clock people and the 6 o'clock people are just kind of lining up together. Well, finally, after hours of standing in line, then, the people that had got to butt to the front of the line at the Jeff Loeb experience, well, they're 50 people ahead of me in the Jim Lee line, but they're still in the Jim Lee line, so I'm like, well, that didn't help them make their time. They just don't have to wait as long. So then somebody came out, and they pulled all the people for the 6 o'clock Jim Lee experience out, so they had to start a new line. So even if you were further up, and by this point it's like 6:10, so it was already past 6. But these people had tickets for 5, and then they weren't telling us anything, and they're announcing, the con is closing in 20 minutes, and everyone's milling around, and they're like I said, there weren't enough workers working the line, and then some guy came through, and I said, you're not giving us any information. Nobody's telling us anything. And he's like, well, that's why I'm coming through now. And I'm like, I'm telling you this so it's not another 2 hours before you come back through. This needs to be like a weather event, constant updates. So eventually we got through the line. We were there well after the con closed. And Jim Lee was very personable.
Did you tell him that your life story and how his art inspired you?
I did not. But apparently at the beginning of the line that people were spending like 2 and 3 minutes with him. And I'm like, you're not the only person in the world, and you can see that there are people lined up clear to Timbuktu.
I mean, you just need to get up there, get your book signed, say hi, it's nice to meet you, and move on.
So toward the end, it kind of got a assembly line thing going. They'd put out a piece of cardboard, and you'd line up your items there, and he'd sign them real quick, and then he'd come out and take a selfie with you, and then you went and picked up another piece of swag that you got. So I did get my 608 signed by Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and Jeff Loeb. So that was pretty cool. That was
an experience.
Yes. So that was worth it. So. Like I said, it ended the con on a bummer for me. That thing was so chaotic. I think they oversold the Jim Lee line. If they had not sold any 6 o'clock tickets now, it would have hosed me. I couldn't have gotten a Jim Lee. I'm glad I still got to get a Jim Lee's autograph, but the 5 o'clock line finished right about 7 o'clock. So realistically, they shouldn't have sold any 6 o'clock tickets, but they did. So it's good and bad. But I don't want to say it was all bad. I enjoyed myself. I got a lot of good signatures and had fun, but there were some items that would have benefited from some more planning, some more forethought, and maybe some more. I realize a lot of people there are volunteers, and you can't ask too much of volunteers. You can't force people to come be volunteers.
No.
But it was $50 a head to get in for a day. I don't know what kind of budget Comic-Cons run on. If they could have paid to have some extra people. One other thing was they did not have enough food lines. If they had doubled the number of food vendors they had, they would have still been constantly busy. They could have sold twice as much food, and nobody would have been standing around. If you have too many vendors,
I just think
then people are standing around. But it's because they had their own. They had the food things that are built into the venue,
yes.
And then they had some
food trucks?
not really food trucks, but modular. They had hot dogs and burgers and stuff like that, but it was a good 30, 40 minutes in line waiting for those. And like I said, they had twice as many, they could have made twice as much money, because a lot of people just walked away.
Yeah. So, this was the Fandays May edition.
This is the big one.
And they've got another one coming up.
There's 3. There used to be the Dallas Comic-Con and Fandays and Sci-Fi Expo. And they've taken the Fandays name, and that's the big one now.
Right. Okay, so they still have...
And I think there's still 1 or 2 others
that this one company's doing in Dallas. I think they're doing, every 3 months, every 4 months, something like that, or twice a year?
Something like that. And because they had a exclusive thing with Stan Lee until he passed away.
Right.
And I guess there was like a Fright Fest or something in
Fright
Dallas
Fest
the same weekend.
Yes.
And that upset some people that there was 2 cons the same weekend.
Well, like we said,
there was the vendors that were like, I could do one or the other, and if I pick one, the guests from the other aren't coming to my show.
Right.
And there's another con like next week, and some of the vendors were like, people can't refill their expendable money buckets in a week, so they're just not going to come spend money. One of the many people I was in line with was they were vendors there. It was the wife out getting signatures while the husband manned the booth, and she was saying, we're supposed to have this show next week. Says, but everybody's spending their money this week.
Exactly.
If it was a month later, or 2-3 paychecks later, then people refill their wallets. But next week, nobody's going to refill their wallets. So
that's been a complaint, down that way.
But that's back to there's just so many shows. So,
yeah, that's one thing. You kind of touched on Peter Mayhew, is that every time, and I apologize, I didn't let you last time we were down there yell out to him. You are Chewy.
I was teasing. I wasn't really gonna do it, but
you were gonna do it.
No, I wasn't gonna.
Yeah, you're gonna do it.
You might have done it.
You might have, yeah. But he's always down at the shows down there, and that's just kind of, he always.
Because he lived in the area.
And
it was
always
easier
to go
for
by
him
and see how he and his wife were doing and everything.
There, so he was always super nice.
He was, yeah. I mean, you could have met him last week, and it's just like, he's always kind of, was nice to you and everything. So yeah, it was a sad weekend. Yeah,
But it was Free Comic Book Day. It was May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Yep.
It was it was a very packed weekend. So,
and Scott Snyder's baby boy was born.
And that,
there we
which
go. See?
I had been so busy I didn't even know that.
I didn't either.
I only know because Blake Northcott retweeted it.
So that was my too long didn't read. Good grief. Dallas Fandays, pretty good. Could have been better.
All right. This week,
vital piece of information: Doug Mankey has been around since '88 because he was the creator of The Mask.
I love The Mask. I wish I'd known that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd have got him to sign my old Mask stuff.
Jim Arcudi.
The Mask
was
and,
I didn't realize that.
And the Mask comics were a lot darker than the movie, but they were a hoot.
Yeah.
Hoot, huh?
A hoot.
Hoot? Remember Boston Legal? They had the guy, well, you're just a hoot. So the Eisners, the wonderful comic industry awards that, are supposed to be on the pulse of the comic industry, were announced this week, or I guess last week.
The nominees.
The nominees, right, yeah, not the nominees. I kind of looked through here, and I'm like, I'm reading the wrong books.
No, you're not. Exactly. You're reading the right books.
I mean, they're reading the wrong books.
I mean, we have the Oscars, we have the Golden. Like I said, Golden Globes is TV, isn't it?
These are kind of the
Golden Globes is both, but it's a different group. It's
the foreign. Okay, but they have the People's Choice Awards. I guess what I'm thinking of, where it's more what the people like. I'm thinking
Golden Globes is the foreign press.
Right. I'm thinking we need a People's Choice for the comic industry, because some of these books, I'm just like, what? I mean.
Well, give us some examples.
I'm going to, yes, like best single issue one-shots. Beneath the Dead Oak by Emily Carroll from Shortbox. I've never heard of Shortbox. Black Hammer, Cthulhuese. Okay.
Jeff Lemire.
Yeah. No Better Words from Silver Sprocket. Peter Parker, The Amazing Spider-Man 310 by Chip Zdarsky. His stuff's pretty good. I don't know how the story was. And The Terrible Elizabeth Dunn Against the Devils in Suits.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of...
I've only heard of two.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
So what would you put in for a single... Now, is this a self-contained?
Single issue one-shot.
A one-shot. Well, in the Spider-Man one wasn't...
Well, it's, I guess, single issue, though.
Okay.
That's a good question.
I'd have to go back and look at what all came
would
out
too,
last
yeah.
year.
Yeah, but I mean, what was so good about the Spider-Man that stuck out? I wonder. I mean,
Isn't that the issue where he revealed who he was to J. Jonah Jameson?
maybe.
But I don't think that was a one-shot.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 310, it's almost can't be a one
No.
shot.
Or single issue story.
It's a single issue.
I've heard that
story.
the Black Hammer, the Cthulhuese, I heard that was actually a pretty good story, but it's Black Hammer. I've tried to read it, so.
Yeah,
I
Black
just
Hammer
can't.
was kind of just.
I
it
can't.
was-
I just
Attack
can't
of the
read
310.
Lemire. Just don't like his stuff. I've tried.
I liked his Terrifics. But,
I
you
can't
know.
get into something. I don't know.
Best continuing series.
Yeah, best continuing series. We've got Batman, Black Hammer, Gasolina, Giant Days, Immortal Hulk, and Runaways. Okay, those are actually pretty good series. I mean, no one's probably heard of Giant Days except me. But I mean, honestly, of all those was one I love. I love Giant Days. I would say the best continuing series of those choices would be Immortal Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, maybe a year, 2 years ago, I would have said Batman. 4 years ago, maybe Batman, but I have not been that. I mean, there's been ups and downs with the King run of Batman. So some have been good, some have been bad.
Mostly bad.
Yeah.
Does Batman fist bump Terry?
No,
He doesn't.
he does not fist bump.
He doesn't
Tom
fist
King
bump.
can go to hell for that.
Wow.
Dang,
Harsh,
that is kind of harsh.
but fair.
Yeah. Best limited series. I mean, we've got Batman White Knight by Sean Murphy.
Yes.
That was pretty
Okay.
good. Yeah.
I can already tell Kenny's answer on this one. Eternity Girl by Mags Visaggio and
God, that
Sonny
book was
Lou.
awful.
Exit Stage Left, The Snagglepuss Chronicles.
Oh, even worse.
Uh,
Although
Mis-
there was a Joel Jones cover.
Mr. Miracle by Tom King. And X-Men Grand Design, Second Genesis. Honestly, on those, I would have to go the Second Genesis or the White Knight.
I would go with
The
White
White
Knight.
Knight.
Mr.
You know
Miracle
what?
was-
Sean Gordon Murphy deserves all of the Eisners. Just give him all the Eisners.
Did you find out 310?
So 310, a very special issue of Spectacular Spider-Man. When filmmakers set out to document Spider-Man's impact on New York City, they couldn't have predicted what was going to happen to them next.
That could be kind of fun. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yes, I haven't finished all of White Knight. I need to finish it. Grand Design, I thought was pretty neat because it took the history of the X-Men and kind of
He
spun
should
it.
win an Eisner for design.
Yes, designing on it. Yes,
The art is very...
it's stylish,
Well, it's...
It's a little flashy.
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 Because they
Magenta.
they print it on a tanned paper to make it look
Right.
old.
Right.
Right.
But then if there's something in white, an old comic, if it was in white, they just let the tan show through. Well, on this one, if it's white, they color white in over top of it, and your eyes are used to, if it's white, it's the color of the background paper. It's very disjointing reading it. You're like, whoa, whoa.
I like his
It's like
art.
someone whose teeth are too white.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, no, something's wrong.
Yeah, it's like it's glossy white,
Yeah.
and it really pops from everything else. So,
Right.
like you said, your eyes are just drawn right to that white.
Yeah, it's very...
It disjoints the rest
Yeah.
of the comic.
Best new series. I'm sure they've gotten a lot. There was a lot of submitted, and they've had kind of weed it down. But Bitter Root from Image, Crowded from Image, Gideon Falls from Image by
From
Lemire,
Image.
Isola.
From Image.
Yeah, I mean everything in the new book is from Image from the best new series. Man Eaters and Skyward.
Man Eaters.
Man Eaters by our
Oh,
wonderful
I'm
friend
surprised.
Chelsea Kane.
Now, one thing that Image is constantly putting out new number ones
Right.
because
Yeah.
most of their stuff is limited, so
Right.
they've almost got a unfair advantage that
Right.
they're always putting out new books.
Right.
So if it's a best new book, it's going to be them or Marvel rebooting something for the 90th time.
And surprisingly, Jeff Lemire's Gideon Falls it's a pretty good mystery horror. Not really horror, but more of a murder mystery. It's pretty interesting.
Thriller.
The thriller.
A thriller.
Horror, yeah.
It's a thriller.
But yeah, Gideon Falls is definitely a good read.
So if you get that mailed to you, is it a thriller in Manila?
It is a thriller in Manila. We're going to jump down to Best Writer. We got Alex DeCampi for Bad Girls
God,
and
no.
Twisted Romance. Tom King for Batman, Mr. Miracle, Heroes in Crisis, and Swamp Thing Winter Special. Jeff Lemire, Mark Russell,
Oh, God.
Kelly Thompson for Nancy Drew, Jessica Jones, and Chip Zdarsky.
Zdarsky.
That's who I would, yeah.
I'm not sure I would go with any of them, really.
Well, Zdarsky's writing has gotten a lot better in the past year or so.
He's been doing the new Friendly Neighborhood
Ever
Spider-Man.
since he's
really
decided to write, because he's like a humor guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he's decided to actually be a little serious with the superheroes. And once he decided that, his writing got a lot better.
Well, he's an artist, too,
Yeah.
because he did Sex Criminals.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm
so,
tired of Tom Fist Bump Batman Tom King.
Well, I'm tired of Batman being depressed.
bring back the 70s Batman.
Bring back the detective Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's supposed to be the world's greatest detective. Let's do some detective.
Best writer / artist, Sophie Campbell for Wet Moon from Oni. You never heard of him.
No.
Nick Dranasso for Sabrina, drawn in Quarterly.
Sabrina?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I thought that was Robert Hack.
Oh, this is unless it was a different Sabrina book. I don't
Oh,
know.
must be.
David Lapham for Lodger and Stray Bullets. Okay, that one, probably go with. Jen Wang for Princess and the Dressmaker.
Who?
Exactly. Let's see.
Well, I'd give it to Lapham, or Lapham,
Yeah.
or however you say his name.
Let's go to one here that we all kind
Lodger's
of
been pretty good.
argue about here. Actually, I think we kind of probably agree with most of these. Best cover artist for multiple covers.
Art Germ?
Actually, he's not on there. But we
Fail.
have Jen Bartel for Blackbird and Submerged. Didn't you read Submerged, Terry?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay.
Our friend Alan likes Blackbird.
I enjoy it. I think it's really good. Nick Darrington for Mr. Miracle. The covers were good, and Darrington's a good artist. Carl Keschel for Isola. Okay. Middleton for Batman and Aquaman variants, and
Batgirl.
Yeah.
and
Not Batman.
Julian Tedesco for Hawkeye and the Life of Captain Marvel.
Well,
Okay.
we know that one Joshua Middleton cover
Yeah.
was just, and that was just a regular, one of the two variants you could get, and that one just blew up.
But no Jay Anacleto.
Nope.
No Mike Mayhew.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
Now, did any of them
No Audrey Mock.
Did any of those people do a regular cover, or were they all limited store variants and stuff? Did Mayhew
Probably.
do?
Anacleto did some.
Yeah, he
did a
did.
bunch of regular
Yeah.
covers.
I just kind of hit the highlights on on those. So there's a whole list of stuff that like the best inker and best
Of those, though, I'd probably give it to Middleton.
Judges' choices will automatically be automatically inducted into the Hall of Fame. There are 4 judges' choices, being one up being Jim Aparo, which
Finally.
is about time. June Tarpey Mills,
Okay.
one of the few female artists working during the golden age of comics. Dave Stevens, finally.
Hallelujah.
Maury Turner, they created the Wee Pals comic and strip in '65.
Okay.
I don't know. Brian Boland,
Yeah, he deserves it.
yeah. I guess the 4 is automatically sent in, right? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so these are nominations that are open for anyone to vote, for the retailers to
okay.
vote. The other 4 are automatically in. Brian Boland's been up for nomination. Definitely see that. I mean, it's beautiful art. Back when we talked about Camelot 3000, being a really good book. Kevin Eastman. Okay.
Yeah.
Jose Luis Garcia Lopez finally is nominated. Lynn Johnson.
Who does For Better, for Worse.
Yeah. Jeanette Kahn. And she
made Vertigo what it is.
She did. She's, yeah. Okay, all right. I'll give it that. Okay. Paul Levitz.
Or what it was, more
finally.
appropriately.
Alex
Nino.
Nino. An old Filipino artist, did Korak and Tarzan and a lot of House of Mystery stuff.
Warren.
Yeah. Lily Renee Wilhelm Peters Phillips.
Okay.
Wow, that's a mouthful. She drew strips as Werewolf Hunter, Jane Martin, Senorita Rio, and The Lost World, Golden Age artist. Later drew Abbott and Costello comics. And looks like Wendy and Richard Penny. Russell. Sienkiewicz has been nominated. Dawn and Maggie Thompson, the old Comic Buyer's Guide. Used to be a long time used to be out. That's the only way to get news. The creator of Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama. Carrington parked up and started shaking her head. Naoki Urasawa, Japanese comic artist, did Pineapple Army and manga artist.
And this is the Hall of Fame.
This is for the Hall of Fame nominations. Yeah.
So only one of those gets in?
I think they only put in 4. 4 will be inducted by voters' choice.
Okay.
So 4.
So if we were to put 4 of those in, what 4 would you put in?
Well, certainly Jose Luis Garcia Lopez.
Yeah.
Kevin Eastman.
Boland.
Definitely Eastman.
Not Penny.
P. Craig Russell and the Dragon Ball guy.
Craig Russell, definitely.
Yeah, I'd have to go Boland, Russell, Garcia.
See, I think I'd hold off on Boland.
Think so?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I kind of hold off on Eastman too, though.
But I just look at it as the impact that Eastman
that
had
is true.
on the comic
That is true. He did
world.
have a bigger impact. That's true.
I mean, comic people know who Brian Boland is.
Right.
The world knows who Kevin Eastman is.
That's true.
So
I wouldn't put Sienkiewicz in.
Planet Comic-Con, Kevin Eastman was there. His signing thing was in the celebrity section. It wasn't in the comic section.
Right. We're going to discuss the best lettering.
Who was up for the
Who was up for best
colorist?
lettering? Who was up for colors, Terry? You got that pulled up there?
I don't know.
You passed lettering.
Best coloring.
Do people even letter anymore, or is it all just computer?
It's all still computer, but there's like design aspects of it. And
There's best penciler/inker or penciler/inker team.
Okay, well, you want to go through those?
There's also best painter multimedia artist. And then there's also best coloring and best lettering.
okay, well,
All right,
go through
Go
them.
through it.
Let's see here.
What are you going to do first? Best penciler inker or penciler inker team?
Best penciler inker/inker or penciler inker team. Matthias Bergara? Bergara,
yeah. Bergara?
Mitch Gardis for Mr. Miracle.
Jared's.
Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. Carl Kerschel for
Isola.
Sonny Liu for Return to Girl. Sean Phillips for Kill or Be Killed. And Yannick, I never done that.
Yannick Paquette.
Paquette
for Wonder Woman Earth 1.
Well, you know who I'd vote for.
I'd have to say Sean Phillips. Or Carl Kerschel.
I'd
Trying to
go
think of
Sean
the-
Phillips.
Inks on those. I don't know, I kind of like the inks on Mr. Miracle.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I think Mr. Miracle should be ran over with a car and just...
Well, I thought the story was really slow and...
the story
I
sucked.
can't get past his page in Batman 50 where Bruce Wayne's foot looked like it was broken in 16 places.
Best painter/multimedia artist. Interior art. Well, I think they're all wrong here. They should probably have Matina.
Well, okay, then we got Lee Berhimo,
Because they're
Bermejo.
always
Bermejo.
complaining about Martina copying over people's.
Carita Lupitelli,
Yeah.
Dustin Wynn, Gregory Panacchione, whatever, and Tony Sandoval.
Panaccio.
Panacchione.
There's no Martina.
Lee would get the winner.
Lee Bermejo,
Lee
definitely.
Bermejo,
Out of
yeah.
that group,
Yeah.
Lee Bermejo.
Yes.
Although it should be Joseph Michael Eisner. But
Well, right, and we did
Oh,
best
that's
cover
true.
artist for multiple covers. All right, you want to do best coloring?
Best coloring. Jeez.
list is invalid because it doesn't have Elizabeth Breitweiser on there.
Or Laura Aldrich?
There's Jordi Belair for Batgirl,
Laura didn't
Batman,
really do a whole lot
Didn't
last
this
The
year.
Divided Earth, Days of Hate, Dead Hand, etc., etc. Tamara
Bonvillain?
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 Bonvillain.
Bonvillain?
Unless you're on YouTube and then it's Bonvillain.
I like Bonvillain. Alien 3, Batman, Doom Patrol, Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, Multiple Man.
She's a very, very hateful person too.
Okay.
Right.
Nathan Fairbairn, Batman, Batgirl, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman, Earth 1, Die, Die, Die. Matt Hollingsworth, Batman, White Knight, Seven to Eternity, Witches, Matt Wilson, Black Cloud, Paper Girls, The Wicked, and Divine, Mighty Thor, Runaways. There's
I would give
a
it
lot
to
of good choices
either
there.
Matt Hollingsworth or Jordi Belair.
I also
I'd
like
have to
some
go
of
to
the
one of
stuff
those
Nathan
two, yeah.
Fairbairn has done.
Say what?
So I like some of the
Oh, the
coloring
book,
Nathan
yeah.
has done.
All right, you want to do best lettering, so... You want to,
David Aja for Seeds, Jim Campbell for Breathless and Call Exit, Grave Trancers.
he's done a lot.
He's got a lot, yeah. Lumberjanes is one of them. Alex DeCampi for Bad Girls and
Mainly
Twisted Romances.
boom books, it looks like. A lot of them are.
Jared Fletcher for Batman Damned, The Gravediggers, Union Moonshine, Paper Girls. Todd Klein, Black Hammer, Batman White Knight, Eternity Girl, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, The Tempest.
I'd give it to Fletcher.
Yeah.
Out of all those, I would think his stand out the most.
Probably. So yeah, some exciting Eisner
Yeah.
awards this year.
Yeah. Thinking we need a...
Terry should vote on the design one.
That's true, Terry. So yeah, best design. As you being a graphic designer and everything.
I mean, it's not rocket
It's not
science.
rocket
Okay,
science.
it's really not, but but still, I mean, I understand.
Best publication designs, are you talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sea of Love.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen Sea of Love.
Okay, the Stan Lee story collector's edition. Have you seen
I haven't
it?
seen it.
Temple of Silence from Forgotten Worlds of Herbert Crowley.
Nope, haven't seen it.
Terry Moore's
I've seen
Terry
Moore
Moore's
stuff,
Strangers in
yes.
Paradise Gallery Edition.
I'll go Terry Moore. That's the only one I recognize.
Or Will Eisner's Contract with God Curators Collection.
Nope. I'm reading the wrong comics again.
Well, I mean, the award is called Eisner's. You should give it to Will Eisner.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not Eisner. It's whoever the team was that
Yeah,
put
well,
together.
I'm
his
just kidding.
book.
It has Will Eisner in the name. Give it
Yeah.
to that.
Best digital comics, I might have to read this one called The Fuhrer and the Tramp.
I saw that.
And the Aztec Empire actually sounds interesting, so maybe check out some digital comics.
The Fuhrer and the Tramp. Wow.
Journey, the Stone King, and Unami.
Your mommy. Your mommy. That's what it's now. You mommy. Your mammy. Your greasy granny. What? I'm sorry. Nothing.
Well,
I felt the eye roll, Terry.
yeah, it was
Best web comic. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
we're done.
So yeah, we obviously are reading the wrong books.
Guess I'll have to go through the Eisner Awards and read all those books.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not going to
no.
waste my time.
No.
It's like the Oscars.
I know, exactly.
Our
If a
awards are better.
movie wins an Oscar, it just goes into the do not watch list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Dallas' book Battle Boy that he's having us read would probably be an Eisner Award book.
Battle Boy.
Yes, for our book
Battling
club.
Boy.
Battling
Battling Boy.
Boy
Yes,
by Paul
Battling
Pope.
Boy.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By Paul Pope.
I've had it since it came out.
If nothing else, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know about
and
that.
a little weird.
I don't know.
At least it's better than Sync.
I liked Sync.
It was okay.
I enjoyed Sync.
You have anything, Terry?
Nope.
No.
I finished reading Battling Boy, though.
Good.
It was tough, but I finished it.
All right, then.
This has been Comic Books.
Yeah, I guess. You got anything?
Straight talk to this.
Carrington, you got anything?
I don't even know what we're talking about.
I've been playing on the phone all this time.
Would
Did you watch
would
Starblazers?
Would you like to talk about?
We're gonna make a meme out of that.
If
I
you were
don't even
giving
know what
a-
we're talking about.
If you're giving an award to an anime comic or something, what would be? Who would you give the award to?
Best anime.
Yeah, best anime book.
Oh, you're going to go book. We're just going to do best anime.
Well, we're doing comic books, so
Anime, probably My Roommate is a Cat, but manga, probably Haikyuu.
Haikyuu. The volleyball one.
Yeah.
Now, are you watching My Hero Academia?
Right now, she's on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
That's not bad.
which they had a game for that too. It came out on Sega Genesis.
Did you pick up the
Or Sega
comic book
Dreamcast.
day My Hero?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, I got it, okay. That's what I picked up an extra one if you needed one. So.
I'm honestly shocked she didn't say Attack on Titan or Danganronpa or Parasite.
Did you go to any free comic book day
What'd
shops?
you say was the
yesterday?
best manga again?
Or Saturday?
Haikyuu.
Haiku. What's Haiku about?
Volleyball.
It's like volleyball.
It's a manga about volleyball, and it's a good read.
They do mangas
Alright.
about everything.
Yep.
Do they like? I mean,
They did one about
they
badminton.
just talk
too.
about like the volleyball itself and describe how round it is and stuff. Or
It's like they go to like these tournaments and stuff, and it's like the main character's main goal is to be a part of a volleyball team, but whenever he does get on a team, he's like on the same team as his rival, so they have to figure out how to work as teammates. But it's hilarious how they're always arguing.
So it's Top Gun with volleyball.
well, didn't they have some Top Gun in volleyball?
They had
Didn't
volleyball
They
and
had,
Top
they had
Gun.
volleyball. Yeah, thank you.
They had some volleyball and Top Gun. I thought
They had some Top Gun and volleyball probably too.
probably.
Wow, we've just
They
gone
made fun
off.
of that. They made fun of the Top Gun volleyball in Borderlands 2.
Did they? Okay.
They did in Hot Shots too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Probably.
That's
Hot
one.
Shots.
That's a movie she needs to watch. It's Hot Shots.
Hot Shots or Hot Shots Part 2?
Duh.
Hot Shots Part 2 is funny. First one,
No. It's. I've only seen it once, so I can't. From what I remember, it wasn't as funny as the first one, though.
No, the second one was much better.
What was the spy movie with Val Kilmer in it? It was like one of the first movies he
Top
did.
Secret.
Top Secret.
That
There's
was a
also
great
The
movie.
Saint.
Yeah.
No, not the
Well,
same.
that
We're talking
wasn't
about
a comedy.
comedies.
Top Secret.
No, Part
Yeah.
Shots.
And Real Genius.
Real Genius was good, too.
Hot Shots
awesome.
Part
Yeah.
2 is the best one.
Okay, then.
And
Anything?
Terry said, "Do not ever waste your time watching I Spit on Your Grave."
Yes, that movie. Oh no, the new one, I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu.
Deja Vu.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't watch any of them. They're all awful, but
You got anything?
I have an important announcement.
What's your announcement?
you're pregnant?
Robin Hood Outlaw #4 will be out soon. You're missing out.
And there's only 2 more weeks left on the statue, right? Their Kickstarter
9
for it?
days.
9 days. 9? Okay, 2 weeks. 9 days, yep. So, back, go to Kickstarter and back that, and I think several of us are. Are
They
you?
keep adding on. What are those? Stretch
Show-
goals.
oh.
Or stretch rewards,
Yeah.
or
Well-
add-ons, or
Well, add-ons you have to pay for.
Right.
Stretch goals you get for free.
Right.
they're putting both on.
Yeah.
So.
I got the wallpaper. I think that's all I got so far.
Yeah, there's
They just gave to everybody for looking at the page, I think, or something.
wallpaper, digital wallpaper, a
Uh-huh.
sticker, a metal card,
What's the newest one?
the sketch cover.
That's a stretch goal?
Well, the blank cover.
Oh, okay, yeah,
The
okay.
blank, yeah, to
Cool.
get a sketch on.
Cool. Well, all right then. So, yeah, check us out. Are or check that out. Sorry, and we're
Hit
also
the bell and subscribe.
Yeah, thank you. Hit the bell and subscribe. I just totally went blank. All right, for Comic Book Straight Talk, this is Dalian.
Kenny.
Terry.
James,
Carrington.
Bye.
thank you.
Thanks.